Hello, students, and welcome back to the online lectures of Environmental Studies Semester 2. Today, we are going to start with the third module of Environmental Studies Semester 2 syllabus. The title of this module is Tourism and Environment. We are going to begin this module with meaning, nature, and importance of tourism, followed by the classification of tourism and potentials for tourism development in India. This will be followed by various challenges that are faced by India's tourism sector, National Tourism Policy of India, various consequences of tourism development, both positive impact and negative impact, and the concept of ecotourism and importance of ecotourism in environmental sustainability and tourism development. Before we begin with the core part of lecture, we need to have a brief look at the learning objective for module number 3. By the end of this unit, we will be able to understand the nature and scope of tourism. We will be able to understand the concept of ecotourism, and we will also be able to understand types and potentials for tourism development in Indian context. Tourism by definition is in simple word considered as a short-term temporary movement to destinations outside the place where people generally work or live. And therefore, tourism activity is associated with short-term movement of the people away from their regular routine places so as to spend some quality time out there. Tourism being an important economic activity can also be referred to as the relations and services which are connected with temporary and voluntary changes of residence for non-commercial or non-professional reasons. Not necessarily that people have to move away from their place of work and residence for economic purpose only. In fact, tourism is the activity which is associated with their movement, spontaneous movement, voluntary movement for spending some quality time and without any economic reasons. So it's a non-commercial and non-professional approach of people while traveling to the places they prefer to visit. They travel and stay in the places outside the usual environment for short time period in order to enjoy leisure, business and other purposes not related to the exercise of an activity of which they are remunerated from within the place of visit. And therefore all kind of movements that are associated with non-commercial and non-economic activities by people away from their regular routine places can be termed as tourism. In fact, tourism activity involves all kind of economic operations which are associated with entry, stay, and movement of a person or a group of persons at the place of destination where he or she is willing to spend their time. And therefore, more than just a movement of people or travel of people, tourism is referred to as an important economic activity. Rather, it is a group of several economic activities which are performed during travel of a person to a place where he or she is willing to visit for considerably short period of time. And therefore, when we talk about tourism as a concept, we come to know few important elements of tourism like distance traveled, place of origin. It might be a place where a person is working or a place where he resides or his own home place. Then the purpose of travel and period of stay or duration of stay at the place of destination. These are important elements needs to be understood while defining tourism. As far as the importance of tourism is concerned, it has been a main source of income for many countries in the world. If we talk about Singapore, Dubai, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Switzerland, many Eastern European nations are important destinations across the world. And even Maldives, these are some of the important areas in the world where source of income of the domestic population or the country is tourism. Hundreds and thousands of people visit to these destinations every now and then, and they bring lot of foreign currency to the host country. Since past few years, it has been witnessed that tourism is the fastest growing economic segment in the world, with the average growth rate of not less than 7%, which is remarkable. Tourism, as an emerging leading economic sector, has put tremendous amount of influence on other sectors of economy as well. One out of 15 people globally are involved in tourism activity in one or the other way. Since last 4 to 5 decades, tourism industry across the world have shown significant expansion, not only in terms of number of people visited to different places for tourism, but also in terms of economic transactions that are taking place during visit and stay of the persons at the place of destination. Tourism is also important in order to grow income of a country and also a main source of foreign currency or main source of the flow of foreign currency to the host country. Tourism is also considered to be an economic activity where large amount of jobs and employment opportunities, both formal and informal sector, are generated out of tourism activity. Unlike industries and other economic sectors where employment opportunities are available in limited number, but tourism provides ample amount of or ample scope for employment opportunities in this particular sector. If we talk about in terms of statistics, we find that international tourist arrival have generated about 856 billion US dollar, which is 30% of the world export services. This can bring to the focus that tourism is also an important economic activity wherein foreign currency takes place at a very larger scale. Tourism also helps a country to publicize or to gain publicity in terms of spread of culture tradition in the entire world. It also contributes to the balance of payment. It also has its own effect on general economic development, employment opportunities, cultural exchange and social benefits, and also it is important to achieve vital it's an important way by which international peace and harmony can be maintained and grown. So these are some of the important points which can help us understand that how tourism as an important sector is having significant role not only in the economic progress of a country but also social cultural exchange and environmental value as well. So that's how the importance of tourism is. Organization have tried to classify tourism activity into various categories based on the distance travel and based on the transboundary travels. The tourism can be classified into three categories. Local tourism. Local tourism refers to the economic activity which is associated with travel of people within their own country. Say, for example, people from Mumbai travel to Jaipur, Delhi, Shimla, Amritsar to spend their holidays is the example of local tourism, wherein there is no question of getting visa or passport, and there is also not necessary to use different currency for such kind of tourism. Inward tourism, on the other hand, is the foreign tourism wherein foreigners enter to the host country or host nation. For example, tourists visiting India from Sri Lanka, Japan, United States of America, African nations, and Middle East Asia. So, when people enter to the host country, that kind of tourism is named to be inward tourism. Whereas outward tourism is the tourism which involve traveling of a country or traveling of people from a particular country to different countries across the world. For example, if Indian tourists visit to Singapore, Switzerland, United States of America, Thailand, then this type of tourism is called as outward tourism. May it be inward tourism or may it be outward tourism. These are the examples of international tourism wherein the travel involved beyond the limit of the territory of our own country, for which one need to have visa and passport, and also the different currency that is being used to spend during their holidays at the destination country. So that's how the difference between uh, different types of tourism based on the classification given by World Trade Organization. We can also classify tourism into several types based on the purpose of travel. So nowadays, the tourism has no longer been a mass tourism, but it has become a class tourism. Earlier, we used to have only one person earning in a family, and then we used to go for traveling by the entire family to a place which is decided by a family, uh, I mean, the head of the family. But nowadays, since the number of person earning in a family has increased, and therefore everyone can choose his own destination with his own group to visit to such places of their own choice, and therefore the is also an important determinant of tourism, and therefore tourism activity has now been diversified in terms of the recreation facilities available, in terms of the specific facilities available, or in terms of the focus of the tourist, they who travel in different places where they want to go. So based on the purpose, we can classify tourism into various categories. For um, a brief understanding of it, let us try to understand a few of them. Beach tourism, pilgrimage tourism, or tourism at the places of worship. Cultural tourism is the tourism where identification or enjoyment of a different culture or understanding of a different culture of different places, people travel. Tribal tourism is done to understand the lives of the tribals and their handicrafts and artifacts. Historical tourism is the tourism at the places of historical importance like forts and ancient monuments and all. Adventure tourism involves the adventurous activities like river rafting, rock climbing, mountaineering, or horse riding and boating. So these are the adventurous tourism. Beach business tourism is the tourism when people involved in travel for business tours or say business conventions in different parts of the world. Wildlife tourism is the tourism at national parks or wildlife sanctuaries in order to enjoy or in order to experience the life of tribal animals in their own habitat. Culinary tourism is also important to understand the food habits in different parts of the world. Sports tourism to enjoy international sports events across the world. Disaster tourism to experience and to understand the impacts of disaster taken place in a particular area. Dark tourism refers to the tourism at the place where large number of people have died due to natural or anthropogenic disasters or anthropogenic catastrophes. So the travel to say Kshetra or the travel to Jallianwala Bagh is the example of dark tourism. Even the travel to Hiroshima and Nagasaki also is an important example of dark tourism. Medical tourism is a new type of tourism which is being developed, and India is considered to be a major destination for medical tourism in the world because specialized medical facilities are available in India at comparable prices as compared to other parts of the world. And recreation tourism is the tourism wherein the recreation activities especially for women, for male, and also for children, are available, then the people go to enjoy these recreation activities at these destinations. Have a look at pictures. So this is example of beach tourism. Various places in India. India fortunately has 6,100 kilometer of coastline, wherein large state coastline is important for development of beach tourism. Goa is the best example of it. Pilgrimage tourism, the importance of, the visit to the places of worship, like for example, Char Dham Yatra, Yamuna, Kedarnath, Badrinath, Jerusalem, Makkah, Medina, and places like that where people go and worship their gods. If we talk about world's 9 most important holy places in religious sites, like St. Peter's Basilica, Vatican City of Catholicism, Western Wall in Jerusalem of Judaism, Great Mosque of Mecca, Saudi Arabia for Islam, Shrine of Bahadullah Akhr, Israel, Church of Holy Sepulchre, Jerusalem, Christianity, Kashi Vishwanath Temple, Varanasi, India is a worship place of Hindu, Golden Temple, Amritsar, India is a worship of Sikh people, Ice Grand Shrine, Ice, Japan is Shintoism, Mahabodhi Temple, Bodh Gaya, India, Buddhism. So various religions and group of religious people, they have their own places of worship, and these are some of the important places of worship, holy places we can say. Cultural tourism involved the tourism which is taking place in different parts of the world, where the cultures differ from place to place. Like Mysore in, the Dashera in Mysore, Pongal, then we have Chhat Puja. These are the examples of some cultural events in different parts of the nation. Tribal tourism involve the travel to the tribal area in order to understand their lives. Historical tourism is the visit to such places which are historically important, like China Wall, the Great China Wall, forts in Maharashtra or India for that matter. Then Egyptian pyramids. These are historically important monuments and places. Adventure tourism, as I told you, that snow skiing, rock climbing, and river rafting are the important adventurous activities. Business tourism is for convention, business convention. People go and attend that. Similarly, wildlife tourism like Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary or various Kana wildlife sanctuary and so on. The food is also important factor of tourism, or it is an important purpose of travel. Like for example, culinary tourism, like Chappan Bhog and places like that in Indore, which is very famous for different kinds of foods. Sports tourism, maybe Olympic, international tournaments, and so on, wherein people go and visit to such places and enjoy. Disaster tourism, like for example, the places where earthquake has taken place, the places where tsunami has taken place. After the disaster is over, people go and experience the you know after effects of such disasters. Dark tourism, as I told you, the places of importance where large number of people have died. Say, for example, uh, in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and in Amritsar, the Jallianwala Bagh. These are the places where a large number of people have died due to certain reason at a particular place, and visit to such place is considered to be dark tourism. As I told you that medical facilities, specialized medical facilities are available at certain places at comparable prices, and therefore medical tourism is one of the leading kind of tourism, and India is the major destination for the same. Recreation tourism is the tourism to go and enjoy for a day or two, like for example, Imagica near Khopoli, and you see Kidzania in RCT Mall, Ghatkopar. These are these examples of recreation tourism. Now, if we talk about potential for tourism development in India, uh, India naturally has natural as well as cultural potential. India's the tourism industry in India play important role in the economic development. As far as the natural factors are concerned in India, India is blessed with a long stretch of coastline, of course, the majestic mountains, hill stations, historical monuments, cultural events, various natural beaches are there, islands are there, beautiful forest areas are there, wildlife sanctuaries are there. So these are the natural scenic beauties which can attract international tourists. Also, India is a country with diversity, unity in diversity, wherein different kinds of languages, dialects, food, culture, dress are vary from states to states. And to enjoy this diversity, people visit to various places. So, besides natural diversity, we also do have diversity in terms of culture and society. Tourism industry in India has huge potential for development in accessibility, accommodation, attraction, and amenities, so that large number of foreign tourists will attract to various places in India of tourist importance. Also, the investments in infrastructure facilities and tourism related services is important for overall development of infrastructure in the economy of India. Now, if we talk about the numbers or statistics in terms of foreign tourist arrivals in India, we could find that the number of people, those who are arriving in India from other countries in 2000, was just 2.65 million, which has increased up to 10.04 million in the year 2070. So there is a gradual growth in the number of tourist arrival in India. It was the only year from 2008 to 2009 wherein the tourist arrival have slightly dipped down from 5.28 to 5.17, probably due to the terrorist attack in Mumbai in November 2009, 2008. I mean, so these are some of the important reasons. Foreign tourist arrival in India by country, if we talk about, Bangladesh is the country with largest number of tourists that arrives in India, followed by United States, UK, Canada, Australia, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Russian Federation, Germany, and France. These are some of the important countries from where large tourist arrivals are there. Bangladesh, United States, and United Kingdom are among the top countries, which accounts for about 40% of the foreign tourist arrival to India for tourism. If we talk about foreign tourist arrival in India, we find that the percentage is going to increase, or it is increasing day by day. However, we could find that in the year 2018-19, the percentage arrival of foreign tourists have decreased a lot from January to May, but in the month of June, foreign tourist arrival has increased from 3.1% to 5.4%, and so on. If we talk about potentials of attraction of tourism, natural attraction, I told you that beaches, hill stations, islands, forests, wildlife sanctuaries, natural parks, then waterfalls, snow-covered areas are important attraction in different parts of the nation. So, if we talk about tourism development in India, we have diversity in natural aspects also, and the diversity in terms of culture as well. So the north south, I mean, in the north we have about 2,400 kilometers of east west stretch of Himalayan mountains, most of which are covered with snow, and they are the important tourist attraction for foreign tourists and domestic tourism as well, wherein a beautiful waterfall, wildlife sanctuaries, snow skiing areas, and also the passes like Rotang passes. These are the beautiful places where large number of tourists can visit very frequently. I was talking about beaches, river rafting facilities, and boating facilities like Kodai Canal in Tamil Nadu. These are the important places where large number of tourists can be attracted. On the other hand, the cultural attraction, if we talk about, it is in terms of culture, tradition, tribes, museums, festivals, monuments, sports, cuisine and dance, crafts and arts, and also important statues, like you say, there's the Statue of Unity uh, in India. So these are important cultural tourist attractions. So these are the important places of interest, of cultural importance as far as is concerned, is given in this particular map. Now, various places of importance, like say Kedarnath in Uttarakhand. Then we have Warli paintings by Warli tribal community, Maharaja Palace in Mysore, the cuisine tourism in Indore and Kerala, and many other places of India. Then we have church in famous church in Shimla, Jaipur, the Pink City, then Rajasthani folk dance, and then various recreation centers like SL Tower in SL World in Mumbai, and so many other places, of course. So these are the potentials for India's tourism development in terms of natural potentials and cultural potentials as well. So that's all for the day. We will discuss rest of the points in the next lecture. Till then, thank you very much. Have a nice time.